What's up, everyone? It is Denise Salcedo. Welcome to a special edition of Speak Now Pro Wrestling. So, as you all know, every single Friday, I tend to recap both Smackdown and AEW Rampage. However, because tonight I will be at GCW ring announcing, I will not be able to do my show. Now, also, next week on Wednesday is my 100th episode, and I really wanted to make sure that it landed on the Wednesday and not my Friday show after that. So I wanted to make sure my 100th episode was on Wednesday. So I had to come up with something to do for you guys here today. And last time I ended up doing, the AEW All Out predictions, etc. So this time I decided to do a fun Q&A. As you all know, I am nearing towards my 1-year anniversary here with the Observer. And so I just kind of want to, have you guys get to know me just a little bit more. So I'm opening this up here today for any positive and light questions you guys want to ask, in favorite things, stuff like that, as you all know. And we've already been getting so many Q&A questions that I cannot wait to answer. So if you guys do send them in, I will try to get as many as we possibly can. Also, shout out, we do have a moderator today in the chat. So FYI, let's give the moderator an easy day today in the chat room. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and we're going to go ahead and jump right in, everybody. So I'll try to get your questions. I'll definitely get any super chatted questions. I'll definitely get those, but I am going to do a lot of non-super chatted ones as well, or I'm going to try to get to them depending on the flow of the show and, everybody that's in here, etc. So first of all, everyone, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to even come in here and join my stream here today. So I'm going to kick things off, guys. Let's get these questions going. Let's do our first one here from the Shadow Ranger. What's up, Shadow Ranger? Shadow Ranger wants to know, Denise, what have you been most excited about and most disappointed about with the opening of the Forbidden Door? That is a phenomenal question, okay? So first of all, I would say I feel I would like more matches between, we had AEW and the Impact, relationship. I would like to see more matches there in terms of certain matchups that I never thought we were going to see because of, it being on different rosters. I didn't think that the promotion for the Kenny Omega Rich Swann match was all of that, I didn't really think that they promoted it all that much. So I would like to see, more matches like that. We have seen quite a few, so that's good, but I would like to see a little bit more. In terms of being excited about, I really just want to see versatility. For me, I want to see matches that I wasn't expecting to see between certain guys just because they were in different companies. And that's really the easy question, but it's little things like having Minoru Suzuki appear on AEW that was so much fun. So to have a bunch of little moments like that, I think just adds to the product. So that's where I would say is what I'm most excited / disappointed in when it comes to the Forbidden Door. So thank you so much for getting this Q&A going, everybody. I'm so excited to see what you guys are going to pull up here. We got a question from Julian who says, hey, Denise, hope you're doing well. My question is, have you ever been to Germany? If yes, how was it? If not, would you like to go there someday? Greetings from Germany. So first of all, Julian, I love traveling. I love going to Europe, and I've been very lucky to go to a lot of European, cities and whatnot. I've done so many different cities in Italy, in France, etc. But I have not been able to do Germany. Germany has always been on a bucket list. However, I did go, this doesn't count though, because it was a stop. So I went to Germany, but it ended up being just a pit stop. So I never left the airport. So I don't really want that to count. However, I had a strange experience in Germany. So as you can tell, I'm a super loud person. So when I was in Germany, I was on a phone call. I think it was with my mom or somebody. I was talking to somebody on the phone. And because I was so loud, everybody kind of kept staring at me. So it was kind of surprising that everybody was super quiet in the airport. So I think I kind of spooked some people there. But thank you so much to Julian for getting this question here. We got a question from Dalen Prada who says, Denise, who do you think will be world champion next? Damian Priest or Finn Balor? Oof, that's a good one. I have a feeling See, I think a lot of people are expecting Finn to win and to defeat Roman Reigns. I do not know if that is going to happen. And I do see them pushing Damian Priest, but I don't necessarily know how fast they're actually going to go ahead and, get to him being champion. So I'm just going to go with Finn Balor for right now. I feel like that's a decent question here. But we got a first super chat of the evening. So thank you so much to JJ, the distraction head of PR and number one fan, who says, a super chat for Denise because you goddamn rule and you're the hardest working person in this business. Thank you so much, JJ, for coming into the stream and sending in a super chat. I really, really appreciate it here today, guys. And I'm going to go through a couple more comments, guys. This one is a super chat from Buffalo Speed Runs, who says, congrats on 100 episodes. Next Wednesday, guys, 100 episodes. I cannot believe it. I started off here, doing one Wednesday night show, and it just kind of like blew up from there, where all of a sudden, I was doing NXT 2, because, the night separated and all of that. And then on top of that, added SmackDown, and then Rampage came along. So it was just like adding more and more. And We're Live, pal, with Garrett and Andrew. That one's really great too. So thank you so much. And BTW, the Speak Now Pro Wrestling episodes, I'm the ones that are hitting the 100. I'm not even including the We're Live, pal show. So like I've technically already hit the 100 mark, but those were separate shows. So this is like for my personal show. So anyways, there you go. We got a question here from Brandon, who says, hey, Denise, if you were a professional wrestler, who would your dream opponent be? Follow up, would you do the job putting your opponent over, or is that not how Hollywood Salcedo works? Hollywood Salcedo does not want to do the job. Hollywood Salcedo does not want to put anyone over. Just kidding. I would do what's best for business. If I had my dream opponent, I feel like my dream opponent would probably be Stone Cold Steve Austin. And the reason for that is like, dude, you don't get a more badass opponent other than Stone Cold with that star power. And I imagine like our feud being, WrestleMania main event caliber. And who would sell more tickets than Austin? There you go. That's my dream opponent. Let's see what else we got here. I'm going to go through a couple more comments. Let's see what else we got. This is a question from Khaled Adam, who says, Denise, what did you major in school? I majored in broadcast journalism. I decided to do broadcast journalism because I thought I wanted to be a news reporter. And then I realized that the news was just like way too sad and I didn't want to do that. And they would tell me that I didn't really have the personality to do news reporting. And I started thinking, I think they're right. I feel like I'm too much more of a fun person to have to be like really, really like not like toned in, but really, really like, you have to be more serious to do news. You can't be like, hey guys, what's up? So like there was a bunch of rain and now there's a flood. You can't do that. So that's not working. Corey Lamb says, Denise, what's your 5-year goal, 10-year goal? Honestly, my goal is for my podcast to keep growing, my Speak Now Pro Wrestling podcast just to keep growing, get more viewers, and also like just keep growing my YouTube channel as well, because I want that to be like one of my main sources of income. So maybe I won't have to work 1 zillion jobs. So I would like that too. And I would like to, maybe own my own business. And, I've toyed around with different ideas of what I want to do, but I also want to be, and I hope that I do get to do like some TV broadcasting as well, because I think I'd be really great at that. I would love to work, and do like pre-show type of stuff, do like analyst type of stuff for pro wrestling, because I think I'd be great at that. So I think that would be like my 5 to 10 year plan there. And let's see what else we got here. This one is from Andrew Henderson, who says, did Jake Atlas indicate to you he was considering retirement, or did it come as a surprise to you? Loved the interview. So if you guys listened to that interview with Jake Atlas and I, it's probably one of my best interviews that I've ever done, because he really opens up. And if you've listened to that interview, you'll understand what I'm trying to get at, as he opened up so much about what he went through and what his experience was like. And he did not indicate to me at all that, off the air or on the air, that he would be retiring from wrestling. Because in the podcast we talked about, we were talking about, one of the first things we talked about was all of the shows that he was booked for. So when I saw the news of Jake Atlas retiring completely from wrestling, I understood why he did it, but it did come as a surprise to me. But he did kind of hint at certain things during the podcast, where he did say that he wanted to pursue different facets of like entertainment. He did mention that. I just assumed, I thought that meant on top of the wrestling. So, you know what? I'm happy that he's taking the time for himself to, really find what makes him happy, because just because he was pursuing wrestling does not mean he has to like continue just to pursue only that for the rest of his life. Like, I'm a big believer that dreams change, dreams evolve, and you don't have to necessarily you don't have to stick to the one thing that you were like focused on. You can change what you want to do. We got a question from Jamie Weisner, who says, what singers do you like other than Taylor Swift? All right. So Lana Del Rey, Lorde, Olivia Rodrigo, Camila Cabello, Avril Lavigne, Mariah Carey, Jewel, Madonna, Britney Spears, like pretty much all your like top pop girls. I listen to pretty much all of them. When it comes to bands, I'm really into the Dropkick Murphys, which a lot of people don't know about, but I always go to all of their shows. I love their music. They're the reason why I took a trip to Ireland. So the Dropkick Murphys, I love the Offspring, I love the Cure. I love more like 90s rock music. When it comes to like bands and stuff, that's more of my style. But I also like anybody that kind of sounds similar to the Dropkick Murphys, I'll probably give them a listen there. So thank you so much to Jamie Weisner. We got a question here from I am Ronald Vince, who says, who is your Mount Rushmore of pro wrestling? Oh, I've always seen this question being asked to people, and I always see this question being answered on Twitter. However, I almost feel like I've never actually sat down and thought about my personal Mount Rushmore, but just off the top of my head, I feel like it has to be the people that I'm such a big fan of. And this may be my Mount Rushmore, but it does not mean it's the Mount Rushmore overall for everybody. So for me, it definitely has to be Kurt Angle, because I just love him. I love Kurt Angle. And I have to go with Shawn Michaels. I'm a big Shawn Michaels fan as well. I also have to add Bret Hart, because I just think that he is technically one of the best wrestlers, period, and is very, very smart and intelligent. And then just because this is I also have to add, I feel like there's different Mount Rushmores. Like, there's my favorite wrestlers that I would add to Mount Rushmore. Then they're the ones that I think are the greatest. But then there's also like the star power. I'm like, okay, what do I want to weigh in more? Do I want to think more about star power or in-ring ability, or a mixture of both? Okay, so for my final one, I'm gonna have to add Stone Cold Steve Austin, because not more so because of the in-ring like Kurt Angle, but more so because of the star power. So I feel like I really have to think about that, but I feel pretty confident in that for right now, considering that I gave it like 30 seconds of a thought here. So let's see what else we got here. We got a super chat from Taylor Cannon. Thank you so much to Taylor, who says, enjoy your weekend, Denise. If you had to choose one match that you've seen live for your favorites, which one would you choose? If you had to choose one match that you've seen live as your favorite, which one would you have to choose? Okay, so WrestleMania 26 in Phoenix, Arizona. My favorite WrestleMania match, period, and one of my favorite matches when I was there live was definitely The Undertaker and Shawn Michaels. All I remember from being there is the absolute excitement in myself, in everybody. It was one of those matches, and like if you've gone to, live wrestling events and you've seen like a brilliantly bloody, amazing match, it's like you're not even paying attention to like the thousands of people around you. Like they're a blur. They're not even there. And so for me, like, I just remember going to that. I was obviously a lot younger then. I was like 18, 19, I think. And I was there sitting down, and I just like remember only being so laser focused into the match. I was so invested, where like I was like jumping and yelling, and I didn't even care like who was there, who was around me, because I was just like laser focused in on that match. And that was like one of my like fondest memories. But I mean, I have been to so many different shows, so many indie shows. I still remember when I went to my first oh my gosh. I remember when I went to my first Dragon Gate show. That was also in Arizona. They had like an indie show that weekend. I don't even remember who was on that card or what, but I just remember it being one of the best shows that I had ever seen live, top to bottom. And then I also got to go to Bound for Glory in Irvine. When it came to Irvine, I'm trying to remember, I'm like, which one? Because I also went in San Diego, but it was the Irvine show that I just remember it being like phenomenal top to bottom. And that was another one where I was just really like, this is awesome, you know? So thank you so much to Taylor Cannon for sending in a super chat. I really appreciate it here. We got another question from, this one's from King KT Dam, who says, have you ever taken a bump? Nope. Never, but I've definitely fallen 1 million times. You want to know which is the worst bump with quotation marks that I've ever taken? I fell at the New Japan show at the Cow Palace, the last one that they had at the Cow Palace. I was walking down the stairs in like platforms, and I literally skipped like 3 steps and just went straight to the ground. That's my bump. It was terrible. Daniel Ingram hits me with the ultimate question: favorite wrestler of all time. My favorite wrestler of all time, based on just the overall career and the different things that this person has done in their career, the different businesses that they worked for. And because this is the person who technically got me into really becoming a wrestling fan, it's Chris Jericho. Like, he is my favorite wrestler because I just love everything that he did in his wrestling career. And so he's always been my favorite. You know, read his first 2 books. I mean, got to meet him a couple of times. One of the few people that I actually make sure to go out of my way to try and meet, even before I got into like hosting and podcasting and all of that different stuff there. So thank you so much for answering that question here. And I'm going to go through a couple more comments here, and I'm going to try to get as many as I possibly can. And someone says, if I still do the X-Pac podcast show, no, I did that for 3 years with Sean Waltman. One of the best experiences working with Sean Waltman, because he is a very nice person and was so good to me and really let me learn and take on a lot of different roles with the podcast. So yeah. And we have a question. This one is from Alfals 1017. He wants to know, sorry guys, I'm turning off my phone. Oh, hold on guys. I got to text back Tony. 1 second, guys. Oh, snap. Hold on. Wait a second, guys. Tony just texted me. He wants to know how long I'm going for on this show. All right. Sorry, guys. All right, really quickly. I had to text Tony. All right. So Afzal 1017 says, were Brian and Dave as you expected in real life? They were great guys. Like, I got to meet Brian and Dave for the first time at the New Japan show in Long Beach, and I was so nervous. I had told my friend, because I wasn't in the press section that day. Brian and Dave were in the press section that day, but I wasn't press. I was just there as a fan. And, you know, obviously I had listened to them for years, but I had never met them at all. And so at the New Japan show, one of my friends was sitting in the press section, and he told me I knew Dave and Brian were there, but like he confirmed it. And I was like, oh my God, I want to go say hi. And he was like, come say hi. He's I'll tell them that you're going to come say hi. I don't remember. I think he might have told Brian that I wanted to come say hello. And I think Brian said like, yeah, that's cool. Like, have her come say hello or something. So I waited a couple of matches, and I think I waited until like we had like a little break or something. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go. So I was so nervous, but I made my way because they were literally on the opposite side. So I made my way all around. I finally got there and I was like, hi, nice to meet you guys, blah, blah, blah. And they were both super nice. We took a selfie. It was great. And then like after that, I just kept in touch like via, I just kept listening to the shows. And then when like I wanted to work for them, but I didn't think there was a possibility. But I reached out. I reached out to Brian. And I said, like, this is who I am. This is what I feel I can bring to the team, et cetera, et cetera. Gave my information, everything that I've done, practically wrote a book on there. And then he got me in contact with Tony. And that is essentially how I ended up getting brought on to the team. And so it was like this really like cool thing because they kind of just saw that I was like doing like so much. Like I would send them like all my press releases of like all my interviews that I did, etc. So I was kind of like, even though I wasn't like always in their inbox, I was kind of always in the inbox because I would send over like all my press releases and stuff from like interviews that I did on my own channel. And let's see what else we got here. We got so many different comments here, different questions. I'm gonna try to get as many as I possibly can. This one is from M. Kwan DC Chonko, who says, thanks for what you do. What is your favorite thing about being in wrestling media? Sometimes because I am a big wrestling fan and because this is something that's been part of my life, my entire life, it doesn't feel like a job to me. Like it does not feel like a job. And so I can get lost in, creating videos and, doing these interviews and all of this stuff. It's all very exciting for me, doing these podcasts. And, when I talk about the shows, NXT, for example, whatever I'm talking about, whatever show I'm talking about, I'll tend to get lost in it because it's like, that's just what I'm a fan of. And so sometimes it doesn't feel like work. It just feels like fun. And so, I think I would say that's probably my favorite one. And let's see what Walter Wolf said. Someone screen capped Denise on the phone. Yeah, my phone was blowing up, and I saw that it was Tony, and I was like, oh, I definitely need to get back to him like right away here. And let's see what else he got. I'm gonna go through a couple more comments here, and let's see. I'm going to go through a couple more. This one is from D Kamai06, who says, is there a wrestler or celebrity that is your dream interview aside from Taylor Swift? Yes. So I would say wrestling wise, it would definitely be like, there's still so many people that I would love to interview that I have not been able to, or that I want or that I got really quickly, like at an event, but I didn't get to actually have like a full on like 15-20 minute conversation with them. So I would love to interview, I would love to interview The Rock, obviously. I would still love to interview John Cena because, there's just the star power there. I would love to have a sit down with like Britt Baker. I think that would be great. I would love to have a full on sit down with Stephanie McMahon because I've interviewed her a few times, but those ones always kind of had to be like about the event and what was going on. So I would love to really do more of an in-depth interview. Same thing with Chris Jericho. Same thing with somebody like, Kenny Omega. Also, CM Punk is obviously a dream interview as mine. I would love to interview Tony Khan. I mean, there are still so many people that I'm dying to interview and that I would also like to do a lengthy interview, not just like these 3 to 4 minute interviews. So I would like, more of that. So thank you so much to D Kamai for sending in this super chat here. And I'm going to go through a couple more. I'm going to go through several more actually, but let me scroll here. We got a super chat from Gar Monroe. Thank you so much to Gar, who says, confirm or deny, even if he doesn't make it official, you are the godmother of Luke's child, teaching them the Hollywood Salcedo way of life. I do not think that Luke would want me as the godmother of his child in putting all my crazy thoughts and my crazy, he would probably be like going like, no, you cannot teach my child to be like Hollywood Salcedo. But no, seriously though, Luke Owen is absolutely fantastic. Legitimately one of the nicest people that I have ever met. Okay. The guy doesn't, I have known him now for over a year, and never once have I heard him say one bad thing about anybody, not even in confidence, nothing. He is a legitimately nice person. The way he's coming across on screen is the way that he comes across in real digital life, how I know him here. And all right, I'm going to go through a couple, keep going through the rest of them here. This one is from Mental Break Productions, who says, Denise, what was the name of that Mexican candy that you really liked? I wanted to try it, but when I tried to order it, I could not remember what it was to save my life. It's mazapanes. It's definitely mazapanes. Just go like on Amazon. If you go on Amazon and you just Google like Mexican candy, like scroll and you'll like see it. Like they'll eventually like they'll pop up here. Brandon wants to know if I put ketchup on my eggs. Hell yeah. Who doesn't put ketchup on their eggs? What? Why would you not put ketchup on your eggs? I don't know. And all right, and I'm going to go through several more. And this one is from Oliver Smith, who says, what's your favorite thing in your background? Oh, so my background here, there's like pretty much everything here is my favorite thing, guys. Legitimately everything here I really love. So let me see. I really love, obviously, my Intercontinental IWGP belt, because I'm trying to point to it, because it looks beautiful. Like, I don't know if it does how it's coming across on screen, but in person, I feel like a champion holding it. I also love my Triple H mask, because you guys know I'm a big Triple H fan as well. So I do love my mask there, and I like to wear it for fun. I love all of my masks, especially my Psycho Clown mask, because that one has been with me for like a long time, So I really, really like it. I love having it. And I think it's so cool. And then, I'm going through a couple more. Sorry, let me back up for a second. I'm trying to see what else I have here. No, I really love like everything here. And like even that WWE construction hat, I love that one because it's so goofy and I look so goofy wearing it, but I really like it because it reminds me of like all of those interviews that I did, and that was like such a good day. That was the day that I finally got to interview Roman Reigns and Becky Lynch. I had gone to several like WWE red carpets, and I had always missed Roman and Becky. Roman and Becky were like impossible to get. I would get everybody except Roman and Becky, and I would see other people get them, and I was like, damn it, like I need to get them. But stuff is always crazy on carpets, and you'll miss people, and you don't always get everybody, especially because they come through in a rush. And so I finally got them at that event, and I also got Stephanie. I mean, like, yeah, that hat symbolizes that I finally got the interviews that I wanted to get. Thank you so much to Oliver Smith. And thank you, Jamie, because I forgot to add Kelly Clarkson. Kelly Clarkson's actually also she's my third favorite female artist. It's Taylor, Lana, Kelly. On my top 3 here. And all right, I'm still going through several more comments. I'm very behind, guys. This is a super chat from Colette Adam, who says, Denise, did you interview CM Punk at the pay-per-view? So I have the Media Scrum videos. They're up on my YouTube channel. I got to ask one question to CM Punk, and that was awesome. I will tell you, like, being up close to CM Punk, somebody that I have idolized my entire life and have been such a big fan of my entire life, to be there front row, with my little camera setup. And like, obviously I was wearing my mask, but underneath my mask, I had like this big giant smile. And then I was like, don't smile too much because then your cheeks are going to go up. And then all CM Punk is going to see is like my face squinting together like this. And so I was like, okay, look serious. And then I was looking too serious. I was really overthinking my facial reactions. But anyways, that was fantastic. I got my one question, but I would love to do an actual sit down with him. We got another super chat from Josh Rauzauskas. I don't even think I've ever pronounced your last name right. But anyways, Josh, thank you so much for sending in a super chat. Josh says, AEW Full Gear is on my birthday and I really want to go, but I need special considerations with travel because of my cerebral palsy. Advice for how to reach out to AEW. Tweets are hard to get seen. Okay, so usually like my best way of getting in contact with AEW, for me, I always reach out like via Twitter. Like when I had that whole like copyright issue, I went through basically tagging them on Twitter, and that's how I was able to get noticed. But I know that sometimes like you need to make sure you get their attention, and you only get to do so by like, getting several retweets and stuff like that. I do not know who is like someone specifically that you should go through, but yeah, I would keep tweeting them. But if somebody has a better answer, if somebody knows something that or who he should reach out to, please add it in the chat, because I'm not fully aware of who would be like the go-to person for that. I mean, like besides like Tony Khan, but I don't have a direct contact to Tony Khan. Anyways, but I really do hope that you get that settled, because yeah, I would, if you want to go to the show, I'm sure there's ways that you can definitely go to the show. So thank you so much to Josh for sending in the super chat. I wish I would have given you a better answer. I just really do not know who you should go to though. And let's see what else we got here. I'm going to go through a couple more as we go through this entire show here. We're getting so many different comments here, and I'm going through several more. Someone wants to know if I have any tattoos. I do not. I do not have any tattoos, guys. Nothing. And let's go through some couple more. All right. This one is from Dalen Prada. Thank you so much for sending in a super chat, Dalen. Dalen says, if you could interview Vince McMahon and only ask him 2 questions, what are you asking? Only 2 questions for Vince McMahon? Where would I begin? I don't know. Oh my God. You know what? I would ask him what he considers the best moment in wrestling history, in WWE history, what he considers the best moment. And I would also want to know, I mean, there's a lot that I would want to know, but not to make this like scandalous or anything like that. I'm going to steer away from scandalous. Okay, so that I would want to know what he considers the best moment in WWE history for him and for the company, etc. And my second question to Vince, I would want to know what decision he made that was not easy to make, that he might have actually really wrestled with. I would be really interested. I really want to know more about like the business aspect of it and like decisions that were made or not made. But there's obviously like so many different topics that you can touch on with Vince. I mean, there's a million things to ask. But again, this would probably be very controversial. So thank you so much to Dalen. I hope that was a decent answer here. And Stellar wants to know if WrestleMania 26 was my first WrestleMania that I attended live. No, my first WrestleMania that I attended live was WrestleMania 21 in Los Angeles. That was my first WrestleMania. I was super nervous. I had the world's sweatiest hands because I was very nervous, but I was so excited, very excited. Another super chat from Malcolm Mitchell who says, biggest missed opportunity in WWE history. Oh, what I think is the biggest missed opportunity in WWE history. You know what I'll tell you? Hiring Denise Salcedo. That's the biggest missed opportunity in WWE history. And we're moving on. This one's from Rain Tech, who says, Denise, what did you ask Lucha Brothers in the media scrum and what did they answer? Alex did not translate. I think he was like, he just forgot to translate because afterwards somebody else asked a question in Spanish and Tony was like, Alex, translate. I asked him basically about like the struggles that they face, like growing up and essentially like what this meant to them. But like he gave, like Penta gave me like this like incredible answer where he was talking about how they used to like sleep in the metro and, you know, sell mask outside of Arena Mexico. And so he would talk, he kind of really went in depth into that. And so it was more of like a genuine story. That's kind of hard to translate now, but that's kind of like the gist of what happened there. So good question there from Rain Tech as well. And I'm going to go through a couple more. Let's see. We got one super chat from Noe Gonzalez. Thank you so much to Noe, who says, who better than Canyon? Seriously, I love the Canyon Cutter out of nowhere. Yeah, and I know that episode's coming up shortly on the Dark Side of the Ring, so that's going to be an interesting one to watch there. But thank you so much to Noe for sending in this super chat here, and I'm gonna go through several more here. Somebody says that their first WrestleMania was WrestleMania 7 at the LA Sports Arena, just a few blocks away from his house. Yeah, I wish I could have been there, but obviously I couldn't because I was probably not even born. I don't even know if I was born or not yet. All right. And let's see what else. Everyone's asking more questions here. This one is from, please send in your questions, guys. I'm all caught up right now with the chat. So send in your questions. If you sent one in earlier and I didn't see it, this is the time to send it in now. We still got some time here left on the stream. So I'll answer several more. This one is from 30 Undertaker 313, who says, what advice would you give to anyone wanting to do what I do? So if you want to get into wrestling media or media in general, I would say start a podcast, start a blog, start a YouTube channel. Don't take shortcuts. Do the work the right way. Take every single job you possibly can. Take every opportunity to learn. Every little thing leads to something. That would be my best advice. It's just start it on your own. If you're doing it on your own and you're succeeding on your own, people are going to want you to come work for them. And I can tell you that works because that is exactly what I did. I started my YouTube channel from scratch. I was already doing like random content on there. And once I started reaching out to talent, once I started developing, a reputation, it was easier to grow that channel. But it really was, if it was not for that channel, if it was not for my YouTube channel, I would not be sitting here right now. There's no way. That YouTube channel is literally what got me everything that I did. So I would say start a YouTube channel, start a blog, start a podcast, start anything and really stick to it and be consistent. That is the best possible thing that you can do here. And this is a question from Danny Spears, who wants to know if I consider English or Spanish my first language. I learned both English and Spanish at the exact same time growing up, but I went to school in English. So I would consider English my first language, though, because but see, it's kind of hard to say because I feel like I learned them both at the exact same time. But obviously, I went to school in English, so everything was in English. And Mr. Corona wants to know, what do I do when I'm not working 20 jobs? So when I'm not working, I'm probably napping. That sounds really bad, huh? Yeah, I don't know. Napping, watching TV. I watch a lot of TV, and going places and eating. That is exactly what I do. I love to go places. I love to, learn new things and discover new places. And there's so much to do here, like in California, so much. And if I can, I like to do like little road trips whenever I can. Obviously, because of COVID and all of that, it's been a lot harder. I used to travel a lot more, but now I haven't been able to really do that unless it's for work. But anytime, even when I do travel for work, I always make time to go out and do some sightseeing. Because if not, like, I don't want to just go traveling and just be there for work. Like, I actually want to see the place that I'm at because I don't know when I'm going to come back. So that's how I feel about all of that. And we got a super chat from Christopher Marino, who says, how was the Republic of Lucha store, and were you taping something there? So I went to the Republic of Lucha store in Pasadena. This is it was my second time there. I just went this weekend, and I was doing like a photo shoot. A photographer reached out to me and, wanted to like do like a like a photo shoot with me and had like all of these like different ideas. And once I saw his work and I saw that his photos were really nice, I was like, hell yeah, let's do it. And so we ended up going there and we ended up doing like a photo shoot. And then on top of that, I shot some like videos for like F4W, which will be coming out shortly. I'm going to be posting those as my Twitch commercials. So for those of you guys who watch Wrestling Observer Live on Twitch and you get all of those commercial breaks, you'll be seeing that footage on there as well. So you guys will get a nice look into the Republic of Lucha store. So thank you so much to Christopher Marino here. WrestleVore says, what other bout would you like to add to your collection? You know what? I've always really liked the hardcore title. So I think that one would be kind of fun to add here, and it would give it like a nice, like different look and a different aesthetic. So I would like to see that as well. I would like to add that here too. And we got a question from Daniel who says, what kind of meat I like. Do I do carne asada, al pastor, or barbacoa? I do carne asada and chicken. Those are my go-to when I get my tacos. Those are my go-to. And all right, okay. And so people are asking about Jake Atlas. I answered that one already earlier here today. Someone wants to know if I cook or if I bake. I do not do either. I used to bake. I used to do like cupcakes and cakes and stuff like that. Well, not really cakes, like I'm talking like out of the box, out of the box, not like legitimate cakes. Okay. And I don't cook either. Dang. My fiance does all the cooking here, and that's because he's just better at it. And we want to eat good food. And I don't make good food. I've tried and it comes out terribly. So yeah, I suck at cooking. And I bought Renee's book too. So I am planning on doing some of those recipes, but I'm kind of a little lazy when it comes to cooking. And I feel like just going like, this is what I want. And chances are my fiance will be like, all right, let's do that. So there you go. It's not just women in the kitchen, ladies and gentlemen. And let's see. I'm going through a couple more comments. This one is from, we got a super chat from Ricardo El Idolo, who says, what's your favorite interview that went off the rails? Off the rails. Okay. Well, I wouldn't say off the rails is not necessarily the right word to use, but when I interviewed Conan, that one was a really phenomenal interview because he ended up asking me questions that I wasn't expecting to like be asked or answering. And it kind of made for like this really great back and forth conversation. So it didn't go off the rails, but there were things that occurred that I wasn't expecting that made the interview so much better, like so much better. So I would probably say that one there. And that would probably definitely be the best one that I would consider quote unquote off the rails here. And Ultimate Bulldog wants to know, what's your all-time favorite wrestling promo? I mentioned earlier that Chris Jericho is my favorite wrestler. His debut into WWE and having that whole back and forth with The Rock, that was my favorite. That's my favorite thing. Favorite. Definitely. And so I already answered favorite wrestler, male of all time. Female, I did not answer my favorite female wrestler. My favorite female wrestler, first and foremost, when I first started watching wrestling, was Chyna. I think that I love Chyna. I thought what Chyna meant to me as a young girl when I was watching was I had never in my life seen such a powerful woman. Like when I saw Chyna, I was over the moon. I was like, I want to be like her. She's a badass. That's who I want to be. And so I always admired her. And then as I kept getting older, obviously, you see people come and go. So after that, I became the biggest Lita fan. I loved Lita. Like Lita was like, she is just so cool. I want to be her. And I would mark out for her all the time. Then after Lita, it was Mickie James. Mickie James then became like my new favorite. I was like, I would dress like her and I wanted to be like everybody that I was a really big fan of. So it's Chyna, then it was Lita, and then it was Mickie James. And then after Mickie James, it went to Alexa Bliss, and then Charlotte Flair. And I would say currently right now, my favorite women's wrestler in WWE is Charlotte Flair. No, I would say overall is Charlotte Flair, not just in WWE. She's my favorite women's wrestler, is Charlotte Flair. And so, but you kind of see like the evolution of like different time periods where I had somebody different that I was a really big fan of here. And so thank you so much for asking that question there. And Walter wants to know if I watch Matt Hardy on Twitch doing video games. No, I didn't know he did that actually. I did not know. I did not know. And okay, I'm gonna go through more comments here. Al Profe Jr. 88 says, "Who do you think is an underrated wrestler?" Willie Mack. I think Willie Mack is he. I am such a big fan of Willie Mack's. Such a big fan. And I think there needs to be more conversation about how legitimately great he is in the ring. So I'm going to go with Willie Mack. That's like the first person that popped into my head. And there's definitely a lot more, but we'll get there. Hector Rodriguez says, what was the moment that made you a wrestling fan? I don't know if I have a specific moment. You guys already know how I started watching wrestling. I started watching wrestling because of my uncle. He's the one who got me involved. When I would record for him when he was at work and all of that, I would record the shows for him. I mentioned that when I first came on to Wrestling Observer Live. So I've talked about that already, but I wouldn't say there was a specific moment. It was more so just of like me just like really being interested in like what I started to see. I think once I started to fall in love with the characters, like once I started to fall in love with people like Stone Cold, Chyna, Chris Jericho, like those people, that's when I really started to get invested in the stories. And then from there, it just kept going. Then I started to really love Kurt Angle and I really started to love Triple H. And I just kind of like, there was always somebody that made me become a bigger fan because of the characters and who I was like really like interested in. So definitely I would say it was more so people that got me invested versus certain specific moments. That's kind of like the best way that I can do it. And we got a really funny question. This one's from D. Eddie, who says, have you ever considered starting your own OnlyFans, teaching people to make the best desserts? For a second, I was like, I'm just going to scroll past this comment. And then I read the rest of it. Can you imagine? Oh, OnlyFlans. I didn't read that right. OnlyFlans. I love flan. So for those of you guys who do not know, I love flan. Please, I love flan. I don't know how else to say it. I sound like Oprah when she says she loved bread. That was the exact same thing that happened to me there. But with flan there. Let's see what else we quit. This is a question from Christopher LaBelle, who says, how do you deal with all of the media critics? Oh, you mean like people that like tell you things? Like on social media? The way I see it, guys, is just like, you can't let that stop you. Like there's going to be people that will say things about you in your everyday life, and you just can't let that stop you. You can't. You have legitimately one life. And if this is what I want to do, and unfortunately, that's going to open me up to criticism, and that's going to open me up to people judging me, etc., saying things about me and pointing things out about me. That just comes with the territory. So I choose to ignore it. And that's the thing, is that for like every bad comment that you see about yourself, there's like 5 to 10 great ones about yourself. So I try to like focus in on the good ones. Sometimes it is hard because at the end of the day, we're all human, but I really do try to just think to myself like, okay, don't let this get to you. This person's probably just saying this because of that. So you kind of have to like rationalize it in your head. And also like, if this wasn't me, if this was somebody that I loved doing this job, somebody that I cared for, and I saw them being like attacked on social media, I wouldn't want them to feel like horrible. I would want them to continue pursuing what they want to do. And so that's why I'm like, okay, just ignore that. I've gotten to the point where I do not read YouTube comments anymore. I used to, and those really started to affect me. I do not read YouTube comments unless they're on my channel. If they're on my channel, I do read the YouTube comments. But if they're on a different channel, if I'm on a different channel, I do not read the comments anymore because it's just too crazy. And then on Twitter, I only respond to people if I feel like it really needs to be brought attention to. If not, there's a lot of people that I'm just like, okay, mute. I don't block very many people either. I've actually counted yesterday. I've only ever blocked, considering like all like the like Twitter attention, I've only ever blocked 108 people. I know this. I counted last night because everybody was saying how many people they've blocked. And I was like, how many people have I blocked? I've only blocked 108, and I blocked like 3 yesterday. So it wasn't like I have not blocked very many people. I just hit the mute button and I'm like, that's it. Moving on, so that's how I deal with it. And I just know, here's another thing too. Like being a girl, being a woman, and being in a male dominated space, people, and this took me a very long time to accept, but I was told this actually by a guy. A guy told me this, and he basically said, if you're not making these people, like if you're not making certain people feel uncomfortable, both men and women, you're not doing your job right. And I was like, what do you mean by that? And he's like, if people do not like you, that means you are a threat. If people do not consider you a threat, they're not going to mess with you. And so it kind of took me a while to kind of see what he was trying to tell me. And once that kind of got into my head, I was like, oh, okay, then that's a good thing. So you just kind of have to reshape it. Don't let like the negative comments bring you down. You just got to reshape it in your head. We got a super chat from Amber Merritt who says, if you had to pick any female to come across from WWE to AEW, who would it be and what would be the female ultimate match? I would pick Alexa Bliss. And the reason why I would pick Alexa Bliss is because I just think she is so good at she has so much personality. And even though a lot of people do not like what she's doing right now, with the Lily doll and all of that, I still respect and really like all of the characteristics that she's bringing to this character. And so she's a girl that has a lot of personality, and she can do pretty much any type of role that you put her in. She can do it. And you're seeing that right now with her. So I would go with Alexa Bliss. And obviously it would be Alexa Bliss, Britt Baker. If I'm going to pick Alexa Bliss, obviously I'm going to pick the top woman in AEW, and that's Britt Baker. So yeah, I would probably say Alexa Bliss. Thank you so much to Amber for asking this question. And we got another super chat from Brandon who says, you're stranded on an island and can only eat one food for the rest of your life. What is it? Keep up the excellent work. Pizza. I love pizza, guys. I don't do free giveaways for pizza, but I did not mean that I love pizza. And I love almost any type of pizza. Sorry, I'm going to become a heel right now, but except Hawaiian pizza. I do not like pineapple on my pizza, but everything else, I'm there. Meat, vegetables, whatever, I'll eat it. Yes. Thank you so much to Brandon for answering the good questions here. And okay, guys, here we go. This is another super chat from Havan the Legend who says, to make room for underutilized and new additions not arrived, who are some wrestlers AEW should not bring back? See, I don't want to answer that because and I get where you're coming from, right? But I just feel like I never want to say this person shouldn't get this opportunity. I don't think that's like a good thing. So no, I wouldn't say that's a good thing to say. I wouldn't say just because someone doesn't like somebody does not mean that they should not get a job somewhere unless, and this does not include, people that have essentially negative, if there's negativity surrounding that person right now, then I would definitely say consider those things before you bring somebody on. But I'm talking about somebody that has no issues, is a good person and works hard, and if they decide to bring them in, man, awesome for them. But if there's a lot of negativity surrounding that person, then it's probably not a good idea to bring them into the company because you don't want to undo all of the good work that you've done. And you really want to, see, is it worth it? Is the backlash, is the negativity worth it? Or is it not worth it? So that's where I kind of sit on that. But if it's somebody that legitimately, is working hard and is making the rounds and is, trying to make something of their career, man, bring them in, but so it's two different things that I guess I want to answer there. So thank you so much to Havan, the legend, for asking that question. Why do I keep thanking you guys for answering the questions? Clearly, I do not know how to talk. Oh my God. And let's see. We're going to go through a couple more. And this is a question from Christopher who wants to know who my favorite WrestleTalk member apart from Lucas. I love everybody there. I love everybody. All of them. They're very, very nice people, guys. And all righty. I'm going through lastly. I have about 7 minutes left, guys. 7 minutes left on the stream. I'm going to answer maybe 3 more questions. So get your last 3 questions in. Your last 3 questions in. And I'm going to go ahead and pick some final 3 and we'll kind of go from there. Okay. And so let's see what else we got. 3 more questions. I'm going to pick some good ones here. Some good ones. And all right, I wouldn't answer that one because I don't have a question. I don't have an answer for that one. Someone had a good question, but I don't have a good answer. Oh, we got a super chat from 30 Undertaker 313 who says, do you believe Santos Escobar has star potential? I fully believe he can become the next Eddie Guerrero. Yes, Santos Escobar is a star. They should definitely, I mean, they've been saying, right, that they're looking for their next Latino star, We've heard it a million times. If they really wanted to have one, they could in Santos Escobar. So there you go. We're down to the final 2 questions, guys. Let's see. I'm going to get a comment from some of these questions are hilarious. Advi wants to know what made me such a positive person. I don't know. My mom said I was born this way. She said I was born happy. So ask my mom. She said this. I don't know. She said that I was very happy from like the moment that I came out. So I trust her when she says that. So I would say that's probably. Also, you guys, we got one life, like I'm not going to spend my life being negative, So that's how I feel. All right. One final question. Oh my gosh, I'm trying to get through a couple more. Josh says I didn't get his question in. I did not see it, guys. So hopefully if you send it in and I have a chance, I will definitely try to answer it. But we get one more question in here. And Devin's pointing out that it is genetic. There you go. It is genetic. And okay, I'm going to go through a couple more, guys. This is it. One final question. And then I will be wrapping up the stream. Before I pull that one up, I do want to say, if you guys enjoyed the stream, I hope you guys did get to enjoy getting to know me just a little bit more. I will be back on Tuesday to talk about NXT. Then I will be back on Wednesday for my 100th episode, ladies and gentlemen, my 100th episode of Speak Now Pro Wrestling, 100 episodes. And then I will be back on next Friday to talk about AEW, Rampage, and Smackdown. So friendly reminder, today I will not have a post show. That's why I'm doing this show, because I will be at GCW ring announcing. So that's why I can't do my post show. So that's why. Alrighty. And here we go. This is the last question that I will get into here. This one is from Hector Rodriguez, who says, how'd you get the job with GCW? It's simple. I reached out to Brett and I kind of told him my background with ring announcing. And I used to do the suburban fight shows, which would go on immediately after the GCW event. So I kind of already had that connection, and I just put myself out there, and, he brought me on. He liked me on the first show, invited me back to the second show. I did fairly decent in the second show, so he called me back again for the third show. So it's like, you just got to reach out. You got to put yourself out there, So that's how it happened for me. But you also have to have, a reputation and work to essentially back you up. You just can't go all willy-nilly, trying to get a job, because you got to make sure you got to show this is why you should hire me. And this goes for any portion in your career. Always show people why they should hire you. Don't just say hire me. This is why you need to hire me, and this is what I can do for you. Last question, since we got a super chat. This one is from Havan, the legend, who says, last title change that made happier than Hangman. The last title change that made me happier than Hangman winning? Or wait, last title change that made unhappier or happier than Hangman winning. Oh, I don't think I get the question, Havan. But I'm going to answer it as the last champion that won that made me really, really happy. I would obviously have to give a shout out to Big E. I feel like that's definitely somebody that how everybody was reacting on social media and just the positivity and all of the nice things that were said. You can't help but to ignore that. For me, another moment was definitely seeing Drew McIntyre when he won the title. Oh, I was so excited for him too. So that was really exciting as well. Alrighty, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in to my live Q&A. I really appreciate everybody who cared enough to come into this, stream and do this. Also, shout out to Kyler. Kyler is my moderator for today. I reached out to him probably 15 minutes before I went live. And I said, can you come on here and can you moderate this show for me? And he said yes. And so I'm really thankful to Kyler for coming out and essentially being so easy to work with and so fast to work with. So shout out to Kyler as well for, again, taking on the responsibility of moderating my chat. Thank you so much to everyone who asked questions. Thank you so much to everybody who tuned in. I will see you again on Tuesday for NXT. Have an awesome weekend, everybody. Bye.